Hey friend, I want to start today's episode with a confession. So, as you know, I have been working in podcasting, working with podcasters, editing, producing for the last 2 decades. And for many of those years, I gave people the wrong answer about monetization. So the answer that I was giving was that you need 5,000 downloads per episode before any of monetization is really worth pursuing. I know. And to be fair, podcasting was in its infancy. It wasn't all the things that it is now. There weren't a lot of editors at the time. It was like the wild, wild west. But that number wasn't completely made up. It's actually the floor that most traditional ad networks use for CPM sponsorship deals. But I was treating it like a universal truth instead of what it actually is, a metric that applies to one monetization model out of about 8 of them. And I watched podcaster after podcaster sit on their hands, waiting to hit the magical number that really had nothing to do with whether they were actually ready to earn from the work that they were doing. Bless it. And including myself for even saying it. So today, I want to give you the answer I wish I had been giving all along. Hey friend, welcome back to Christian Podcasting Secrets. I'm your host, Tammy Munson, and we have a lot to talk about when it comes to monetization. So much, in fact, that this is going to be a 2-part episode. We'll do part 1 today, and then on Monday, we will drop part 2. Are you ready? Okay, let's go. So here's what I believe is happening for many of you right now. You have a podcast. It's not tiny, but it's not gigantic either. And you're looking at it going, am I ready to monetize my show? Am I close to the mark that I need to be? Do I have enough yet? Am I enough yet? And then you either Google it or put it into ChatGPT, and you're probably going to get 16 different answers. All of them confident, but none of them are the same. Sound familiar? Probably, yeah. The confusion is absolutely real. And it's not because you're doing something wrong. It's because monetization advice was written for a completely different kind of podcast than the one that you're building. And so we're going to fix that today. So let me tell you about my client, Leslie. Now, Leslie had about 300 listeners per episode, which is a really good number. It was consistent. Her audience was engaged. She was not growing at light speed, but her audience wasn't leaving either. By every metric the internet told her to care about, she was not ready to monetize. But when she and I sat down and actually looked at her podcast, we looked at the analytics, we looked at her downloads and her consumption rate, I saw something different. She knew exactly who her listener was, not a demographic, but one specific woman navigating career transitions after 40. That was her audience. She was able to name it. Her listener trusted her. They replied to her emails. They shared her episodes. They did what she asked them to do. She had a group coaching program in her head that she had been given away for free for 18 months. Her show was consistent every week. So I told her she was ready, and we got to work. She launched her coaching cohort, and guess what? She filled it. Not because she had 5,000 downloads, but because she had 4 things that matter a whole lot more than downloads. And we're going to talk about what those 4 specific things are right now. Now, I call them the 4 readiness signals. And there is no number that is contained in any one of them. There's no magical number. Okay, signal number 1. You know exactly who you serve. Now, when I say that, I don't want to hear, well, I serve Christian women. Okay, that's a demographic. 500 million people fit that description. I mean, one specific woman, one specific season, one specific thing she's trying to figure out or how to navigate through. And here's why that matters for monetization specifically. When you know exactly who you're talking to, you can create something precisely right for her. And precise offers conversion. Broad offers make people feel vaguely addressed, which is not the same as feeling helped or seen. Now, the question here is, can you describe your listener in one specific sentence? Just one. If it takes a paragraph, you need to keep working on it. Okay, number 2, your listener trusts you. She doesn't just like you. She trusts you. There's a difference, and it matters more than almost anything on this list. Liking means she enjoys what you have to say. She likes your content. Trust means when you recommend something, she actually considers it. When you say, this product helped me so much, she believes you. When you ask her to do something small and free, she does it. And that last one is probably your clearest test right now. Have you ever asked your listener to leave a review, share an episode, or reply to an email in the last 30 days? If so, what happened? If you've been asking for reviews for 6 months and you have about 3, that's not a marketing problem. That's a trust gap. And there's no launch strategy that closes a trust gap. Only consistent, honest, specific content does that over time. Now, the good news here, if you've been showing up for your listener in a faithful way, you probably have more trust than you realize. It builds quietly. You don't always see it until you ask for something specific, and then it shows up. Okay, signal number 3. You have something worth selling. Now, I want you to stay with me on this one because I know your brain probably went sponsorships. Everybody's brain goes to sponsorships. It's the most visible monetization model. And also for most of the people listening to this podcast, it's probably the wrong first move. I know. You see, a sponsorship requires a third party to trust your audience enough to pay for access to them. That takes verified numbers, a clear demographic, and usually a download minimum, and probably also what your podcast consumption rates are. You're handing control to someone else's brand approval timeline. What you control is your own offer, your expertise, your frameworks, the specific knowledge that you have been given away for free in your episodes. And one of my clients earlier this year, exactly that, given all her best stuff in her podcast episodes. And there is a time and a place for that. So what she did is she packaged one of her best frameworks from one of her most popular episodes into a $37 workbook. Now, she made more in 1 week with that workbook than her podcast had generated in the entire 18 months that she had been actually doing it. Same audience, same trust, one offer they finally had a way to say yes to. Now, the diagnostic here is there something you've been giving away for free that your listener would genuinely pay for? Not because she has to, but because it would help her in a way that sometimes free content just doesn't fully reach. And finally, signal number 4. Your podcast is stable. I don't mean perfect. I mean stable. It's got a consistent schedule, a clear message. Your listener knows what to expect from you and believes you'll still be here next month talking about it. And here's why that one matters so much. You see, revenue raises the stakes. A sponsor is counting on you. A coaching client has paid you. They are expecting you to show up. A podcast that's still figuring out what it is, what its voice is, what they're talking about, it's not going to hold that weight very well. But a podcast that's found its rhythm, that knows who it's for and keeps showing up, that podcast can definitely carry more. Stewardship is the right word for this. In Luke chapter 16, verse 10, it says, "Whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much." The stability you've built is not nothing. It's proof that you can be trusted with more. So 4 signals. Know exactly who you serve. Your listener trusts you. You have something worth selling. And your podcast is stable. If you've got all 4, then you're absolutely ready for monetization. Congratulations. Right now, not someday, because as we all know, someday never arrives. I want to mention something. So if you've just heard me talk about the 4 signals and you're not sure which ones you have, which ones need work, that's a 30-minute conversation, not a solo audit. And I have free strategy calls exactly for this moment. Now, we did them in May and they sold out. So I'm going to run them in June and July. So make sure that you sign up quickly for this. So what happens on one of these strategy calls? Well, we look at your podcast together. We run through the signals. We look at what's really happening and figure out what your actual next move is. There's no pitch. There's no pressure. Just a real conversation. All you got to do is go over to wildfirecreativecompany.com/free strategy call. I will make sure to drop a link in the show notes for you. Okay, practical steps. Here's what I want you to do. This week, I want you to run your podcast through the 4 signals. And I mean, actually do it. Not just think about it while you're walking the dog or driving your kids somewhere. Actually spend the time to do this. It won't take long. Get a piece of paper. You know me, I love pen to paper. There's a whole bunch of neuroscience behind it. So get a piece of paper, 4 lines. Signal 1. Write your listener in 1 sentence. Not a paragraph, 1 sentence. If you can't, that's your work. Signal 2. What's the last thing you asked your listener to do? Did she do it? Be honest. Signal 3. Write down the 1 thing you've been giving away for free that she would pay for. Just 1. And signal 4. Go in and look at your last 8 episodes. Are they consistent? Did you publish them when you said you were going to publish them? Are they stable? Are there gaps in your episodes that you were hoping that nobody noticed? 4 questions, 4 honest answers. That piece of paper tells you exactly where you are. Now, on Monday morning, I'm dropping part 2 of this conversation, the full monetization menu. Every method worth knowing about, the seasons they fit, and the one asset that most podcasters are completely ignoring. So it drops on Monday, June 1st. Make sure that you tune in so you don't miss it. And if you're not currently subscribed to the podcast, I want you to go ahead and do that so it automatically drops right into your feed. Your assignment this week is super simple. Do the 4-line exercise. Right now, while this is all still in your brain, you're thinking about it. Or if you're driving, make sure to wait until you get home. The point is, I don't want you to wait until you have more time. You have enough time. It only takes 5 minutes. And what you find out will be worth more than any course you could buy on this topic. The faithfulness that you've shown up with for your podcast, the consistency, the episodes you made when you didn't feel like it, the listener you kept serving even when the numbers weren't moving, that is not nothing, my friend. That's the foundation, and foundations hold weight. You've been building something worth monetizing. Trust it. Thank you so much for joining me today. And remember, you can love Jesus and analytics. And life is way too short for a boring podcast. I'll talk with you on Monday. Bye, y'all.